again. Gonna start trying to make these videos a bit more often, a bit more regular. Try and get more comfortable with the process, and yeah, just try and play my part in inventing and out-venting, because it's healthy for me, I think, more than anything, just to literally get it off my chest. So, perfect timing. Just driving past a sign. It says we are investing 174 million over 4 years. It says more. Basically, it's in regards to the roads in my area, Bristol. I've seen the sign, it's been making me think. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial expert, I'm not an economist, I'm not any of those titles that would be considered to be an expert on how the financial system works and runs. So this is a layman's perspective, this is just merely my point of view, my questions. Now, what I've been wondering is, we associate living in a time that's, I don't know, it's an energy crisis, they label it energy crisis, cost of living crisis, I've heard also, and that I'm going to sort of focus on the cost of living crisis. I just said about that sign, 174 million. Basically, the sign is alluding to 174 million being spent on the roads. Now this is just the roads in the South Gloss, North Bristol sort of area. I think that's a separate thing to the ring road by me. I'm not going to even say what the figures are, but I know it's in the millions, even billions, something stupid. Let's add to that like the smart motorway, the M4, Bristol to London, or well, east to west I guess, Wales to London. God knows how much money they spent on that. I know it's just been shit basically for God knows how long, at least 10, 15 years it seems that there's just been roadworks on the road, and the whole time they've been saying that they're building these digital motorways, whatever that means, smart motorway. You should know that smart means not so smart, but that's another conversation. But anyway, just at face value, these millions and billions that they spend on the roads, for example the M4, I drove on it the other day and I can't see any difference. I wonder what digital means anyway, but there's no perceivable difference. You're still driving the same route, you get off at the same points. If anything, the only difference that's obvious is there's got a few extra signs telling you what to do, and there's no hard shoulder, which just actually makes it more dangerous as far as I'm concerned, even though it's supposedly supposed to make the roads safer. So anyway, to cut to the point, how are we living in a time where we've got a so-say financial crisis when we're at the same time so-say supposedly so advanced? We're in like 2022, we're at the cutting edge of civilization, and you know, we've got digital everything building around us. We're so say on the verge of the space age and all this stuff. So how have we now found ourselves in a time where we've got a cost of living crisis, where we're being told we can't heat our homes, we've got to put extra coats on, and we can't feed our children properly, we've got to start rationing and all this stuff? How's that advancing? I asked the question, if we've got a cost of living crisis, where's the money coming from for these roads? One, I asked the question, does that suggest that the money's being misspent? Two, does it suggest that there isn't a lack of money, it's just a farce that we're being led to believe that there's a lack of money, because they've got all this money to spend on the roads, which ultimately stay the same. So you have a 10 years of 10 million, 20 million, whatever, 100 million, let's say. Because I'm sure you're talking billions over the course of the country. If they're spending like 174 million just in this little area in Bristol for the roads to look the same. They spent millions on a little junction on the ring road to make it worse. In fact, through time of my experience, all the roadworks that they put into effect, I've never seen an improvement yet. All we get is years of traffic, years of traffic lights, years of disruption to ultimately come up with a situation that's worse. So who's accountable for this? Because somebody should be. Let's take this ring road in Bristol, for example, the junction. People have died on it. It's not safe. So that's criminal as far as I'm concerned, let alone just the negligence of spending the money in some bullshit fashion. Just that alone, people should be held accountable. As I said, I'm not a financial expert, but one thing that seems to be quite obvious, there's a common denominator always, is they award contracts. So somebody gains wealth from this. When there are 174 millions being invested, somebody is on the recipient of that 174 million. So that's the question that needs to start being asked. When we're being led to believe we're living in a financial crisis, look around you and see how much money is actually being spent, because that proves one of two things. Either there's not a lack of money, or two, the money's being spent negligently. Because ultimately, what say do we have in all these billions being spent on our roads that ultimately create congestion and traffic and roadworks to ultimately come out pretty much the same way? You're still going the same way. I'd rather have the odd bump in the road and be able to have a good quality of life than be made to feel that I have to question every aspect of my spending and basically having to cut back and be forced into poverty so I can have some super advanced road that's got a few extra signs telling me what to do on it. You know, let's just go to the smart motorways, for example. Now, I have theories as to why they're really putting these motorways in. I think it's all about control. In fact, I think there's a parallel to COVID with the smart motorways. Because I've noticed when driving on the M4, for example, that they have signs about these digital motorways that were coming, that supposedly are now here, and they use the slogan of making your roads safer. Yeah, I personally don't feel in the slightest bit safer. I feel more at danger. I don't like not having a hard shoulder. I feel uneasy about it. So that's not making your road safer. Just like the same false pretense of COVID and all that bullshit, trying to say it was for your safety. Your safety is our top priority, as we was constantly told every time we walked into a shop or went anywhere. I know, for example, the supermarkets, they're telling you that your safety is our top priority. Their profits are their top priority. The government's saying your safety is our top priority. The profit is their top priority. These motorways, it's not about safety, it's about control. That's what they're implementing with a smart motorway. That's what's changing. Do you really need to invest billions in a road system that has signs telling you what to do? Because I personally feel, and have felt for a long time, that they create traffic. If there's a problem on the road will speak for itself. You don't need to be told to slow down. If there's congestion on the road's going to be blocked. If the road's free, the road's free. That's self-explanatory. That's common sense. It's just another form of babysitting us. And when you take away people's ability to speak, I think I've always said, if you have a nanny state, you babysit, you're creating babies. You're not creating adults that have the ability to think critically for themselves. Hey, don't be disorientated. There's a slight change of background as I had to stop the video and resume it. So resume I will. As I was saying, where was I? The babysitting of society, creating a society of babies. It is basically a form of dumbing us down. And just take a look around you, really. Do we really need that level of control? I'm going to go into that a bit more in another video. what that's actually doing to us. And I have a lot to say now, and I'm going to start saying it. But on the subject of the smart motorways, like I've been on the motorways late at night when there's nobody on there. There's no roadworks, nothing going on, and they've got some sign telling you to drive 40 miles per hour. And you're like, really? Come on. It's like it's almost like they're taking the piss for the sake of it. It's like that it's like they're on a power trip. And I'm not being funny. I feel that is a factor in what's going on. I honestly do. I feel that, you know, we all know these people. These, you know, you get those over vigorous lollipop ladies that get their coat and their lollipop, and they feel that power and they want to express it. You know, referees and police and security guards, and you know, just that kind of mind state. These people that just get a kick out of control, and I think that is it's a facet to what's going on a much higher level. You got, you know, I think people have to question who gravitates to these positions, like these MPs and people like that. They're on a power trip. Honestly, I think they're fucking with you, and they enjoy it. They just because they can. Let's make them drive 40 miles per hour on the motorway just to see how stupid they are, and see if they really do as they're told, no matter what we tell them. I think COVID had that same mind state going on as well. I think some of the rules were just stupid, and they knew it was stupid. It was a psyop to see how stupid you are, and we've passed the test, and look at the society that they're now bringing in for us as a consequence, because you've passed the test. They're like, yep, we can do whatever we want, and they're just gonna bend over and take it, hook, line and stinker. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I just want to see this money invested a bit better. You know, let's start investing the money in facilities for our children, like parks and stuff like that. They're taking all this stuff away. They're taking away everything. You know, I'm not a pub man myself, but even pubs have just been dropping like flies, and that's a social gathering place for people. They turn them all into flats and Tesco Expresses, and it's got to stop. We need to. We would like to preach that we got this democracy. Let's practice what we preach, because if a democracy, once again, it's another conversation what a democracy truly is, but just on face value, once again, it means that we should be having an input into what's going on. I don't see us having an input into any of this stuff. I don't think we're really getting a say. We didn't choose to have these smart roads, all these signs telling us to slow down for the sake of it, and then the whole road's just crawling because you're told to crawl, and then suddenly the sign stops saying it, and suddenly everyone's driving fast again. It's like, come on, people, can you not see that that's just been put there for the sake of it? It's not necessary. You don't need to be told to slow down on the road. The road's slow, the road's slow. The road's quick, the road's quick. Stop these technocratic, power-hungry lollipop lady types that are just shitting on us, basically, on some power grab, power trip, ego trip nonsense. Anyway, I said I'll be back. Always a pleasure. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.